What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the seven wonders of Canada. Now, I've heard of the seven wonders of the world, but I've never heard of the seven wonders of Canada. And that is exactly what we're going to take a look at here today. According to Wikipedia, the seven wonders of Canada was actually a 2007 competition sponsored by CBC Television's The National and CBC Radio 1 Sounds Like Canada. They sought to determine Canada's seven wonders by receiving nominations from viewers. So basically, they had a competition where they asked people to nominate different places around Canada and vote on what the seven wonders of Canada would actually be. Now, it sounds like not every Canadian actually voted on this, and this was more of a fun thing that this television program did in 2007, but I thought this would be a very, very fun list to go through to see what kind of amazing things exist in Canada that I don't know about. So, these are for me, the seven wonders of Canada. After the vote, a panel of judges picked the winners based on geographic and poetic criteria. Poetic criteria. How much the wonder really spoke to them in poetically, whatever that means. Now, with that all being set up, I'm going to start here with number 7 on the list of Canada's seven wonders, starting with Cabot Trail. Cabot Trail. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. It's in Nova Scotia? Cape Breton Island. Cabot Trail, I'm actually gonna open that up and take a peek. Cabot Trail, what is this? It is a scenic highway on Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia, Canada. A highway? A scenic highway is one of Canada's wonders? Really? Is it a really cool highway? I mean, I don't want to immediately dismiss this or anything. I just didn't expect a highway to be a wonder of Canada, maybe. It is a 298 kilometer, no one knows what that means, 185 miles, there we go, loop around the northern tip of the island. Oh, that's cool, passing along and through the Cape Breton Highlands and the Cape Breton Highlands National Park. So it was named after explorer John Cabot. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is not just any highway. This is a really cool island highway. That's a 185-mile loop. Are there any pictures of this? Oh, there's kind of a gallery here. I gotta look up some pictures of the Cabot Trail to get an appreciation of this. What do we have here? Oh, wow. Oh my God. Okay, I get it. I get it now. This is something that happens to me, and I think a lot of Americans don't realize the natural beauty of Canada. Like, I when I think of like a highway or something in Canada, I don't think of this beautiful oceanside view, like going up and down the majestic highlands and hills of Nova Scotia. I guess I just don't know that much about Nova Scotia, to be honest. This is beautiful. This is really cool. Wait a minute. Okay, I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong. I'm sorry. That is really cool. Cabot Trail. That definitely deserves to be a wonder. Okay. Good. I don't mind being a little put in my place and surprised on these seven wonders of Canada today. Moving on to number 6. The Rockies! Oh, that makes sense. So the Rockies is something I've heard about because it does extend throughout Canada and into the United States, but I have to admit, I've never really seen anything about it. The Canadian Rockies, or Canadian Rocky Mountains, comprising both the Alberta Rockies and British Columbian Rockies, is the Canadian segment of the North American Rocky Mountains. Right. So, I mean, just based on this picture alone, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I've never really seen any giant, huge mountains in general. So let me see if I can actually, let's look up the Canadian Rockies to get some images of this. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't even look like real, to be honest. Some of this just looks like a computer generated background or something that you'd see on your computer. But no, this is actually real and in Canada. That is amazing. Yeah, I'm actually surprised this isn't higher up on the list of the seven wonders of Canada. Because just based on these photos alone, like, that's mind boggling, especially if you went there in person. But there's five other wonders that were above this? Really? All right, let's look at number five. The Northern Light. The Northern Lights. That's right. The Northern Lights are in Canada. You can see them. I think you have to go really north in Canada to be able to see the Northern Lights. That's amazing. How is this not higher? Oh my God, these are fantastic so far. These are great. How many votes did this get? The Northern Lights got 61,000. So just 6,000 more than the Rockies. The Northern Lights, like, again, something I've never seen. I don't even really know how they work, to be honest. Aurora, oh my God. Like, it just looks like something from Alien, like aliens are doing this, or, like it doesn't look natural. It looks otherworldly. I can't believe something like this exists on our planet. I had forgotten. That's right, because it's not something like I ever think about, or I think most Americans ever think about, because it's not in reach for us to see. Although I feel like I read there are certain times with weather phenomenon where you can see the northern lights from crazy places in America. Maybe not. But in Canada, that's north enough where you can actually travel and see these, right? Oh my God, truly. Like, that is something else. Okay, I like that one a lot. The Northern Lights, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, Northern Canada. Oh, that's a great one. The Northern Lights I think that should be like a wonder of the world, actually. Like, not just a wonder of Canada. Like, that is a once in a lifetime, like, makes you just sit there and go, what the heck is that? At least that would be my experience. All right, let's move on to number 4. It's Nahanni National Park Reserve. Nahanni National Park Reserve. I've never heard of this. This is more votes than the Northern Lights. Is that right? This is in Northern Canada, Northwest Territories. It got 64,000 votes. A little more than the Northern Lights. Okay. Nahanni National Park Reserve. I'll give it its fair chance. I'll try not to be biased towards the otherworldly lights. What is this? Nahanni National Park Reserve in the Dacho region of the Northwest Territories. I don't know much about the Northwest Territories in Canada, I have to admit. So this is kind of nice, actually getting to look at something there. It's approximately 500 kilometers, 311 miles west of Yellowknife. What is it? It's a national park. Oh, it's got a lovely waterfall. And, Virginia Falls? It's a World Heritage Site. It's said to be haunted or cursed? Haunted or cursed? Following the mysterious disappearance and deaths of gold prospectors over the years? I will make sure not to do any gold prospecting, should I ever have the luxury of seeing Nahanni National Park Reserve. I think I need to see some photos of this. I want to be mind-boggled. I want to be astounded by this, and this is very nice. This is very nice. It's like the Rockies without any snow, and there's waterfalls, and it actually looks kind of nice because you can actually explore it and hike it. With the Northern Lights, you're just like there, and you're like, there it is. Yeah, look at that, and it's kind of over, and then, until you put your brain back in your head, and you're like, okay, I've seen it. I'm mind-boggled. This is like something you could explore and make a vacation out of it, make an adventure out of it. I like that. Visually, nothing against the Nahanni National Park Reserve. It's awesome. But I'm not sure if this is as visually striking as, say, the Rockies or the Northern Lights. But I will say it's maybe more of something you can actually tangibly visit and explore, and then that would make it like a memory and something very cool. So for that reason, I appreciate it on here. But I don't know. Let's keep going though. Let's keep going. It's cool learning about something though in the Northwest Territories because I barely know anything that's there. All right, moving on. We're getting high up on the list now. Number 3 is the Bay of Fundy. The Bay of Fundy. I've definitely heard this. Like I've heard this name. Atlantic Canada, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. It got 67,000, just a little bit more than Nahanni National Park, honestly. Bay of Fundy, I've heard this before. What is this again? Is a bay? Oh, it's a bay. Of course, it's a bay. The Bay of Fundy is a bay. I just found out. It's between the Canadian provinces of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. They have a little map here. Okay. Small portion touching the US. In Maine. Oh, it's kind of touching us. Isn't that nice? It is an arm of the Gulf of Maine. Its tidal range is the highest in the world. What does that mean? Its tidal range. Difference between high and low tide? Bay of Fundy? Is there something particularly striking about this bay? Oh, this does look familiar. It's got these crazy rocks. That's right. You can go into the Bay of Fundy, at least a little bit, and you can explore. That's right. I think a long time ago, I reacted to this in some video. Oh, that's cool. I like some of these natural wonders of Canada that you can actually like go do something. You can make it like a vacation, an adventure, and an experience, and that's really cool in a unique way. Yeah, I remember these rocks. You can go play by these rocks. That's kind of fun. The Bay of Fundy. Okay. There's like 2 categories of Canada natural wonders. There's the ones where you just have to sit back and admire, like the Cabot Trail, although you do get to drive it, and the Northern Lights. The Rockies, can you actually explore the Rockies? You can probably do some stuff in the Rockies. Maybe the Rockies should be a little higher on this list. I don't know. But that's the Bay of Fundy. Very cool. All right, moving right along here. Going to number 2 is Niagara Falls. Of course. How did I forget about Niagara Falls? Of course. That's not number 1? What's number 1 on the list then? Niagara Falls, of course. Ontario, on the Niagara River. There we go. A big jump in votes. 81,000 votes for the second highest on the list. Niagara Falls would be an absolutely amazing experience. I have watched videos on Niagara Falls in Canada. You can go on the little boat in your little poncho or whatever and go down and get hit in the face with Niagara Fall water. And what an experience that you can say you did that. Niagara Falls, group of 3 waterfalls in Ontario. Yeah. And it's pretty close to the border, I think. Spanning the border between province of Ontario and New York. Okay, right. Oh, Niagara Falls. What can you even say? This one is so famous. Every American knows about Niagara Falls. Most Americans have never heard of most of the stuff on the list so far of the 7 wonders of Canada. I think, except for Northern Lights, I think a lot of Americans know about. And not necessarily associated with Canada, because there's other places in the world you can see the Northern Lights, but that deserves to be there, I think, for sure, for Canada as well. And Americans have also heard of Niagara Falls, of course. Amazing, beautiful, legendary, so well known. It's like a bucket list item. No pun intended for the bucket here. It's a bucket list item. Oh, it actually has Frozen. I've never seen it partially frozen before. That's interesting. Do they still do the tours even when it gets very cold? Oh, and then you're in the cold water of Niagara Falls. That'd be interesting. But, oh, they got lights in Niagara Falls? What the heck? Anyway, Niagara Falls is just legendary. Absolutely, absolutely needs to be on this list. If that's number 2, what is number 1? I don't know. Let's take a look. Number 1 on the list, most voted for the 7 Wonders of Canada, is Sleeping Giant. Sleeping Giant? What is Sleeping Giant? Thunder Bay, Ontario, with the overwhelming amount of votes, jumping to 177,000 votes. From Niagara only got 80,000. Sleeping Giant got over twice as many votes. Let's take a look. With no further ado, Sleeping Giant voted the number 1 of Canada's wonders. It's in Ontario. It's a series of mesas formed by the erosion of thick ballistic sills. Is this English? I don't even know what we're saying. It's a series of mesas. What's a mesa? It's a big rock formation formed by the erosion of thick balsitic sills, which is rock in the form of a tabular sheet, from what I can tell. Let's just look up a photo of the Sleeping Giant. What is this? Is it like a giant rock formation in Canada? I'm still a little confused. They're showing pictures of an island? It's also a provincial park. Sleeping Giant Provincial Park? I'm a little confused by this, I have to admit. It is a rock formation. You can hike to the top of it. And it's by the water? Yes, it's like a canyon and a tabular sheet of rock, whatever that means. Okay, so it goes quite high. It's like almost like a cliff. It's also a park. I'm a bit confused by this. I'm just going to scroll through some of the photos. This photo keeps coming up quite a bit. That's awesome right there. Can you actually explore this? Also looks a bit dangerous. How close to this can you get? Is this something you look at from afar and admire? Or is this something you can actually go and explore? I'm guessing you can actually go into the park. Okay. So it's a very specific rock formation that you can see from far away, or you can also go explore it. That's what I'm getting here. This seems like something you can't really appreciate much on the internet, looking at pictures. The Sleeping Giant, I've never heard of that. That was overwhelmingly voted number 1 of Canada's wonders. Well, so there you go. There you have it. There are the 7 wonders of Canada as voted by Canada, at least in this poll that they did in 2007. Again, just adding up all the votes, it looks like they had 500,000 votes come in, which is like, 1/80th the population of Canada. But, just for the sake of fun, calling these the 7 wonders of Canada for today, and getting to take a look at all these natural wonders in Canada that a lot of these I'd never even heard of before, honestly, was actually pretty fun and educational too. A lot of these I understand. Like, a lot of these are amazing, man. And some of these I don't quite understand. And I don't think I will unless I look a little more in depth. This was kind of an overview of these. If I looked more in depth at some of these, I think I could appreciate more what the Sleeping Giant is, or the Bay of Fundy, or the Nahanni National Park Reserve, because I don't think the photos did them justice. But I enjoyed this nonetheless. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like, or leave a comment, perhaps with your opinion on Canada's 7 wonders. If you think there should have been something added to this list, or something taken out, or what number 1 on the list should have been, or if you agree with this list, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know. That'd be very fun to see. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.